Hey there. Let's talk about something weird, something that's constantly influencing your decisions, emotions, and even your physical reactions. And you don't even know it most of the time. I'm talking about ancient primal fears. You know, the kind of stuff our caveman ancestors used to deal with saber-toothed tigers, deadly spiders being left out of the tribe, falling off cliffs, getting poisoned by a funky berry. You get the picture. Now here's the twist. Those fears, they haven't gone anywhere. Sure, we've got smartphones, GPS, frozen pizza, and air conditioning now, but your brain? Your brain still thinks you're roaming the savannah in a loincloth, looking for berries and hoping you're not lunch for some fanged nightmare hiding in the bushes. And while modern life has changed drastically, your biology hasn't really caught up. Let me paint a picture. You're walking through your house at night, and suddenly the hallway light goes out. It's just your house, you've lived here. For years, you know exactly where everything is. But your brain goes, "We are so dead." This is how it ends. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tense up, and your eyes start searching the shadows for movement. Why? Because back in the day, darkness wasn't just inconvenient, it was dangerous. It meant you were vulnerable to predators, two things, that crept and crawled and attacked when you couldn't see them. So your fear of the dark? Not childish, just really old software. Another classic, creepy crawlies, spiders, snakes, bugs that scuttle across the floor and disappear under furniture, making you burn your entire house down. These fears are universal and weirdly specific. Most people react strongly to just the shape or movement of a spider. Even little kids, without being taught, tend to instinctively be cautious around spiders and snakes. That's because back when we were still figuring out fire, those things could actually kill us. A single venomous bite, and it was game over. Our ancestors, who were extra jumpy around small creepy things, they lived. The ones who picked up every colorful snake they saw? Not so much. So congratulations, your disgusted shriek at a house. Spider is actually survival in action. But let's move beyond physical danger and into something way sneakier: social fear. That feeling you get when you post something online and no one reacts? That sinking anxiety when you walk into a party and realize you don't know anyone. Or when someone looks at you weird and your brain immediately spirals into "they hate me, and now the whole tribe will abandon me and I'll starve alone in the woods." That's not just social awkwardness. That is ancient primal survival instinct at work. Back in tribal societies, being part of the group wasn't optional, it was everything. Acceptance meant food, shelter, protection. Rejection meant danger. If you were ostracized, you were vulnerable to predators, had fewer resources, and no one to watch your back. So today, even though your tribe might be coworkers, classmates, or followers, your brain reacts exactly the same way when you sense rejection or embarrassment. It's not overthinking. It's evolution trying to keep you alive. And while it helped us back then, now it just gives us anxiety about how we said "you too" to the waiter when they told us to enjoy our meal. Now let's talk about the fear of injury and blood. This one's fascinating. Why do some people faint at the sight of blood, even when it's not theirs? It's thought to be a vasovagal response. Your heart rate drops, blood pressure drops, and you go down like a sack of potatoes. This seems counterintuitive, right? You'd think we'd want to stay alert during an emergency? But here's the theory. It might have been a survival tactic. If you got injured and bled, fainting could reduce further movement, slow blood loss, and protect vital systems. And if someone else nearby was hurt, collapsing might have made you seem like less of a threat to an aggressive attacker. Basically, it was a way to play dead and not bleed out. It's helpful thousands of years ago, but now it's mostly just awkward. During medical dramas or minor paper cuts. All right, here's a fun one: fear of the unknown. It's that deep discomfort you feel when facing something unfamiliar. A new job, a new city, weird noise in the middle of the night. Or even something silly like trying a food you can't pronounce. Your brain loves patterns. It thrives on predictability. Because again, back in the day, unfamiliar often meant dangerous. A new cave could be shelter war, It could be the den of a territorial bear. Strange sound might be wind, or it might be something stalking you. So we evolved to be wary of anything new, cautious, hesitant. Even now, we often stick with what we know, not because it's better, but because our primitive programming is whispering new equals risk. Let's talk about something many people experience but rarely connect to: primal fear of loud noises. Think about it. Thunder, explosions, sudden crashes, even the loud pop of a balloon. They all trigger a quick jolt of panic. That's your startle response. A full-body alarm system designed to get you moving fast. In the wild, sudden noise meant immediate danger. Something crashing through the trees. Could be a predator, a loud crack, maybe a falling tree, a stampede, or something worse. Your ancestors didn't stop to investigate. They ran. If you flinch at sudden sounds today, you're not weak. You're just a finely tuned descendant of people who survived by freaking out first and asking questions later. Now let's take a second to appreciate one of the most ridiculous modern examples of primitive fear: fear of eye contact. You ever notice how uncomfortable you feel when a stranger stares at you just a little too long? It's deeply unsettling. It turns out there's a reason for that. Eye contact used to be a signal of dominance or threat. Among primates, prolonged staring is a challenge. It meant I'm watching you or I'm ready to fight. So when you make too much eye contact or someone stares at you from across a room, your subconscious is screaming, danger, challenge incoming, which is why you either look away awkwardly or instantly start planning your escape route.
Owls.
Not social anxiety. It's primal programming. And what about claustrophobia? The fear of small enclosed spaces, elevators, tunnels, crowded rooms. This fear probably developed as a way to avoid situations where we could get trapped with no escape. In caves or tight spots, being stuck could mean suffocation, or getting crushed, or attacked with no room to fight back. So your panic at the thought of crawling into a narrow cave? Oh, totally valid. Evolution's way of saying, let's not get squished today. Then there's the classic fear of being watched. Ever feel like someone's watching you even when you're alone? You might laugh it off, but that sensation has deep evolutionary roots. Early humans who were constantly aware of their surroundings were more likely to spot predators or threats. That creeping feeling that makes you look over your shoulder when walking alone at night. It's your inner caveman trying to make sure no predator or enemy from another tribe be sneaking up on you. And sometimes it's right. But most of the time, it's just your brain being extra cautious. Speaking of being watched, let's talk about fear of monsters, or more accurately, the shapes and sounds that represent monsters. Horror movies, creepy legends, and nightmares all tend to share the same imagery: sharp teeth, glowing eyes, claws, unnatural movement. There's a reason those things get under your skin. Those are all visual cues of predators' features that once signaled run or die. The hiss of a snake, the growl of a wolf, the scuttling sound of something crawling across leaves. We still react to those, often without realizing it. Movie studios literally design monsters to tap into these instincts, using sound design and visuals to trigger your primal fear responses. You're not being manipulated, you're being biologically activated. And one of the most fascinating parts? These fears affect your body even when you logically know you're safe. Watching a horror movie, walking through a haunted house, or even looking at an unsettling image can raise your heart rate, make your palms sweat, and tense your muscles.
Oh.
Why? Because your brain isn't great at separating fiction from reality. When fear is involved, it assumes that anything that looks like danger is danger, better safe than sorry. Which is why even cartoonishly drawn monsters can make you uneasy if they tap the right fear buttons. And now, we arrive at perhaps the most subtle and dangerous primitive fear of all, the fear of losing control. This shows up in so many ways: fear of flying, fear of being in crowded spaces, fear of being in unfamiliar social situations. The core emotion here is helplessness. Our ancestors needed to be in control of their environment to survive. They needed to know where danger was coming from, how to escape, how to act. When you're in a plane and you're not the one flying it, boom, helpless. When you're in a crowd and can't move freely, panic. That fear isn't about the actual situation. It's about the lack of control your brain interprets as dangerous. All of this boils down to one powerful truth. Our modern lives are being run by ancient fear software. And while it was incredibly helpful 50,000 years ago, now it's reacting to social media posts, public speaking, bad Wi-Fi signals, and office drama the same way it used to react to wild animals and forest fires. But here's the good news. Not a slave to these fears. Once you understand where they come from, you can start working with them instead of against them. That spike of anxiety? It's your brain trying to protect you, even if it's overreacting. It's that panic in a social situation. It's just your evolutionary wiring doing its best in a world it